Hey everyone, it's Krista. We're back again. So we have a new cam. Interesting view. So it's a little better than the last one where like you had to be way far away. Let's see, how does this work for prepping the tank? So let's see how this does work for prepping the tank. We're going to pull you away more, raise you up, and see if we can get the good workshop view going. So, yeah, we got a new camera. This one's a little bit more friendly. Okay, wow, that's kind of cool. Whoa, zooming, auto. So maybe we'll get you a little bit further away. Oh, wow, this might actually be really cool. All right. Okay, shit, you need to be a little higher. I don't know what I think about it going zoomy, but all right, cool. Weird. So we made this tank yesterday. I don't think I'm going to talk a whole lot about the process on the tanks this time around. I'm just going to kind of give that update on my crazy. So it's been kind of a weird moment. The last few weeks I've been pretty depressed. And, there's nothing special there, honestly, right? Welcome to today's corporate, end game in our country. And so I went to do a live this morning on the Book of Faces. But was this on? Yeah, okay. But it cut out after 5 minutes. That was a little bit annoying. So yeah, the depression kind of hit hard, and I wasn't sure what was going on really because there was nothing exceptionally new about life sucking. Like I said, there's nothing recent other than the normal suck, of states trying to hate me and whatnot. So, what are we talking? Gotta work. So it was kind of tough because it's like I get the crazy going and I'm depressed and I don't know what to do about it, and like life sucks a little bit sometimes. There it is. And I just kind of was sad and didn't know why. And so like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember when, it's in the updates, I figured out it was the ADHD medication going off again. And so that kind of sucks a lot, It's happened a few times, and every time it happens, it's been different, but the same in a way. But this time around, I got on the Stratera, and I swear it started working right away, which shouldn't be possible, I guess. And then it completely is changing everything in my life, and it's so bizarre. So like, you think, all right, so brain chemistry, how you think changes, that makes sense. Um, that should be kind of obvious for anyone if you're neurotypical or not. But it's like when you change to the latest Windows and you go to look for in the bottom left corner for the little window thing um, to get more, to get the programs. What is that? The launcher? Is that what they call it? A launcher? And you go to do the launcher and it's not there. Like, oh. So, oh yeah, you have to go to the middle of the screen. It's not over here in the corner. Wait, over here in the corner? I don't know which way. And so, so it's not like I can't think. It's just that things aren't where I expect them, or they might not be exactly the same as normal. And this is for all of my thinking. So, like, what makes me laugh is different. What I think about other people changes. How I express emotions changes. And then of course I have the autism, so meaning I've got the autism too, and the brain affects how I process inputs to my physical being. So that means stuff like light is brighter or dimmer than normal. It's different. It's just plain different. There's nothing to be done. It's simply different. And so in that regard, think of it also like, yeah, you changed your windows, but now you've gone from a mouse to a trackball. Well, some people that sucks. Like I was trimming a tank, and I've trimmed tanks for 3 years. Take a hobby knife, make the sharp edges go away, not a problem. But what I was telling my hands to do the way I've always done is different. The results are different. And I'm continuously running this evaluation program in my brain of, like, it's just how I live, of like, okay, my hand is here. Is it there? Yep. Okay, sure enough. Like there's aspects in the brain where I do that. But it goes across all of anything which has my brain to say or do. Thinking, like thought process, how to develop something, stuff that's funny. Like, I mean, a very common ADHD thing is folks think we're emotionless. And, well, like that changed too. Now I have to go and think, like watching what's happening out there, and then how does this relate to what's in my brain? Should I have an emotion for this and stuff like that? And so I have to figure out, I have to relearn a lot of things about life, and that gets confusing and exhausting. And I think that's the part about neurodivergence a lot of folks don't get, is our reality is different. We can't just assume anything. Most folks go their whole lives and this stuff never changes. And so when it's like when you know someone has ADHD and they do something dumb or weird, and you're like, well, what the heck? It probably has foundation in that of they literally are thinking differently. And so I'm now processing entirely different inputs than before. And like I have to go in my brain and go, oh, well, these make sense for this situation. Oh, here's what it means. Right, okay. And everyone takes this for granted. Because it's like most normal people, it's built in. It's part of your normal life. You've got these tools in your being. We put the sharp drill thing far away from reality. So anything that used to be a habit might not be a habit now. Anything I used to do correctly might not be. So I have to continuously reevaluate and reassess and double check what I'm doing to make sure that what I'm doing is what I want to be doing. Can you kids from kitchen? And so everything that's happening is, like I get things are normal, and I get when but like now stuff is different. I'm so easily distracted from anything sound wise, like the kids playing. It just, my brain stops. It just stops. And it's frustrating, and I don't want to be frustrated at folks, especially when they're being normal and natural. It's difficult. Frustrated, other people can see it in their energy, and then now you're introducing stress and obstacles to positive living. It's just not easy. I just think the biggest surprise is just how interrelated everything is. The feelings, the physical inputs. It's like my mood changes how something feels. And you think, oh, well, sure, but it's deeper than most normal folks. So it might be part of our magic, but it's also a magic that can backfire or takes corralling. And it's just really tough. And I haven't been able to work on Billie Jean. I just haven't had the brain for it. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do it. Hopefully soon. I started on the Stratera Friday. And Friday I was just blah, whatever, just a human, a Herman, her ma'am. And then Saturday was kind of crazy because we watched all three of the Lord of the Rings for 12 hours. We watched it. And I haven't been able to sit still and watch a movie like that. Like just watching a movie is a bit of an event for me. But to quietly sit, watch, and enjoy 3 of those movies for so long was just remarkable. And I was like, is it possible? Is it possible that I'm getting a positive effect from the Stratera already? It just, I had it before, and so maybe the brain remembers how to use it. I don't know. I don't know if that's physically possible. All right, no bubbles. Watching for a second longer. Okay, we're going to turn it over and look for bubbles on the other side. No bubbles. All right. We're going to use some fresh blue shop towel to clean off the water. But yeah, it's crazy. Literally. Ah, gosh. So if you watch and you're an ADHD or you're autistic, or if you have questions, same as with the rest of my crazy life, you're welcome to ask sincere questions. I always appreciate chances to help others learn more, but it also helps me learn more about myself in order to explain things to others. And that's always a good thing, to learn more about yourself. So I kind of like this camera so far. We've been able to do what I can do this work and sort of stay in frame easier than I did with that last 4K camera. That one was goofy because it was like the aperture this way was smaller and you had to be much farther away to get anything in view. So yeah, I got on Adderall the first time. 2005, and it was pretty intense. I had like 3,000 emails unread, and I just kind of caught up in those emails in a few days, several days, I don't know. But I was able to just choose to sit down and do emails, and I'd never been able to do that. And there was a time people were discussing Shakespeare, and I was like, I've never understood Shakespeare or why. And I literally just sat and watched and paid attention. And the folks talking were like, are you okay? Because they know. They know I'm ADD. They know, I'm bouncing off the walls. So I was in my 30s then. Might be in my 50s now, but I still bounce off the walls. Still can happen. But I was genuinely interested and excited. And I was like, oh, so this is the big deal. Holy crap. Wow, I wish I would have been able to figure that out in school. My whole life, I had just wondered what the big deal was with all this Shakespeare crap. For reals. That's just, had I been medicated sooner instead of taught to beat myself up or trick myself or lie, I would have been a better human all these years. And so it's really a huge disservice to go unmedicated. And it's I hope someone kind of see the light, They were in denial. They were an amazing human. And I just, I didn't keep pushing it because they weren't going to have it. And then they tried it and they were like, oh my gosh, I should have done this sooner. It's like, yeah, you don't lose your superpowers, but it lets you channel. It lets you have a say in your superpowers and what you in your brain. And that's a big dang deal. So yeah, I did that all the first time around. That was pretty interesting. There was a time when I took my lunchtime dose, and I wasn't particularly that exact day. And the voices in my head were like, okay, you're really tired. You should go to sleep. Your body's exhausted. You've been running it to death. So I had the hardest sleep my entire life one afternoon at work on the couch. That was just, it was nuts. So if you take Adderall and go to sleep, you probably have ADHD. That's nuts. So, pretty quickly, my brain got on top of the dosage, which it loves to do. It's like, oh, there's something wrong here. You're able to think, well, you need to fix that. And so then the doc was like, well, maybe we can up the dose. I was like, well, if you're fine with that, I'm fine with that. I don't care, whatever. And, his concern was keep an eye on your blood pressure to make sure it doesn't go up. And so I went from 2 a day to 1, then 2, then 2, then 2, and then 2, then 3. And then I was having such a huge crash after work. I couldn't drive from work very well. And then, let's do a third round. So it was 2, 3, and 2. So we're talking 70 milligrams of Adderall a day. And then eventually it got to 3, 3, and 3. It'd take 3 in the morning, 3 after lunch, 3 after work. And I was down to about 165 pounds from 210. Pretty much when I didn't want to eat, I'd just eat ice cream. But I could tell this was not going to work. I did eventually eat that much. My blood pressure got into the 130 over 90 range. And so I was like, all right, well, this ain't going to work. What's next? And he's like, well, there's this Strattera thing you could try. So we wound me down off the Adderall. And he was like, yeah, take every few days, take one less pill. And that sucked. I was fairly well addicted. I mean, it's no surprise. I knew what was happening. I know it's a stimulant. I know what stimulants do. And I would watch the clock every day. It would be a little bit sooner. I was like, You look up. Oh, okay. It's 5 till 4. It used to be 4:15. Yeah. So I did the Strattera, and it took a while for me. I don't know. Maybe I might not have been as self-aware with analyzing what I'm thinking, how I'm thinking, why I'm thinking. Maybe it did kick in quickly, but it felt like it took a while. And then he kind of just maxed me out on his recommended dosage right off, which is not the best thing because the way it works on receptors, more doesn't get you anything. You don't want just more for this. You want the quantity your receptors in your brain needs to get you the attention span you're looking for. And so within 5 years, the receptors got tired and it quit working. And then I went to Vyvanse, and I had a feeling it was going to quit working, But that was happening as I like left California and sort of lost health care. So then I just went back to Adderall, and I did 2 Adderalls for 7 years. So I stopped the drilling and vacuum to try to minimize all the chips that are going to be happening. Collect some of them before I drop them all onto the interior of the tank. Now we have to get this drill is a little smaller than the opening, so I have to kind of get the edge. Nobody's watching me. Okay, this goes here, back in the bin. Next up, we're doing the tool I made to notch where the fuel cap goes down and locks. And so this bolts in like the gas cap would, and then it slides forward to cut that notch. So that's up next. So it's like, when you know someone has ADHD, you just have to remember you don't know how they think, you don't know what they think. And that's how some of our literalness happens, is that if we're in a kind of weird place in our heads, we become very literal because we're reduced to our basics. Simple yes or no answers. Sometimes that's all we've got. If you say why, it's like, I don't know. It's a feeling or this. I don't know why. More vacuum. I think that's Oh, there might be one more quick vacuum, but that's mostly the end of the vacuum. Ah, got my hair. Let's go get a drink real quick in case I try to cough again. Yeah, it's just so bizarre, like how, it's like just using your body, using your brain. You sit down at your desk to use your brain, and your QWERTY keyboard's gone, and that's a Dvorak keyboard. What the heck? What kind of joke is this? It literally is like that. And I've gotten very used to kind of like my reality check algorithm of watching, like observing what I'm doing for the purpose of evaluating what's happening. Like most folks don't have that. You don't need to critique, hey, am I moving my hand this way? Like even the basics we as in me being ADHD autistic, like we've really got to pay attention to this crap. So one of the better ways of getting chips out of the tank, well, actually the best, easiest way is to just try to make them fall out. Get these little chippy doos off of here. But the best way to get the last of the chips out is use one of these damp rags. It just kind of diffuses the static electricity for a second and kind of lets you grab them. Because if you go in with a vacuum, literally, because of the static, they run away from you. Now we're going to put in the telltale holes for when you're filling. They're like little vent blowholes. And they give you warning when you're about to reach the neck of the filler. Without those, it's like you're filling, and sploosh, kind of goes everywhere. We don't do the splooshes with gasoline, sorry. Now we're going to approach the phase of trimming. Okay, put this back where it goes. The way it goes, put this in it. Now, let's see. Evaluate these tools I have here. Did that. Do I have the gizmo out? Yes. And then there's a gizmo, a fitting that goes in. So our tool tray can go away. And then we're going to bring you back in close again so that you can be right up in my teeth while we are trimming the tank. And I guess we don't need gratuitous chest shot. I really like this camera so far. It's been pretty amazing. Other than it's going in and out and wigging out that regard. And I'll come fix your angle in a minute. Oh gosh, that's distracting. I hope it's not that bad in real life. We'll have to watch the video after and see. It does say you want to be, like I said, 6 inches to 4 feet. And like where you're at right now, 4 feet is about here, the left side of the tank. Oh, I have a little bit of anxiety and I don't know why. Okay. So it's like this continuous self-doubt and self-questioning gets exhausting. Give myself some fan. A little extra clumsy, like I went to move something and I knocked my little bin of knives off onto the floor. And that's when to move something and I knocked my little bin of knives off onto the floor. And that's when I'm just gotta be like, yeah, okay. And not, you have to just not care. Like, there's no other way here. What if I put you, no, I don't think that would work. All right, so we've prepared the tank where you drill out the holes and make whatever physical changes. We tested the tank. And then now I call this part trimming. We trim the tank. In fact, I need gloves because I'm going to be handling the tank. I don't want to put finger goo on it. And also, it'll help protect me from my knife. But yeah, the ADHD is just impressively impactful across my life. You know, it's not like it's a surprise or anything, but it's just, wow, that's epic. It's louder and more prevalent than even I remember sometimes. And it's really tough when the self-doubts try to happen. I know they're lies. I know it's me trying to trick myself, but I can't help. I can't help what I feel. And it's like, I don't even know what I feel, and I can't help what I feel. That's kind of a goofy thing to say, but that's where all of this comes in. It's like I have to evaluate, whoa, what do I feel? And that's like just kind of normal. It's like having to remember how to breathe. And so it hurts a little bit extra when I worry about harming others with inaction or actions. Like, how do I, like I have my partners and it's like, well, I love you. And how I love feels different in my head when I read my heart for the love. And it's difficult. I don't really think it's possible to have such a tremendous change, but it would be not, I worry. I don't want to fall out of love. I don't think it's possible. I've managed to go through changes before and not change who I love, so that's a good sign. But I worry. I love my people. I want to keep my people. Oh, yay. I think I've gotten a little bit of a little bit back on my trimming mojo, which is good because it's very important to trim these tanks that are on the outside of the bike fairly well. Tank is underneath covers. Trimming isn't quite as crucial. A technique I developed for trimming is I hold the knife with one hand and I change the angle and the down force. And I normally don't do this. I normally don't simply push with that hand. I normally push with the other hand. Maybe I got a little bit of extra superpower. It's possible. Why not? But I normally, by dissociating pushing with the angle and depth control, I have more overall control of the cut and less chance for fly away when it like slips off the cut. Yeah, I think I've got pretty heavy PDA, pathological demand avoidance. And I think it's tied in with executive dysfunction, but it's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit more of a specific case. And it's easy to say it's the I don't want us, but it's not exactly the I don't want us. And it's not like specifically depression, immobilization, or depression shutting down. I mean, it's like in the same food group, but it's not exactly that. Do I want to do this now? I don't know. It's here. Easy. All right, let's go back to, well, there's a little bit more right there I should get. Okay, you got this. All right, good enough. I guess a big chunk of having a crazy is needing to just reevaluate your humanity. Let's make a good transition into this other cut. Oh, that's just sweet. I did pretty good on those. Nice. Okay. Yeah, let's go for a challenging area, a scary area. It's like, I know I've got my superpowers, but sometimes I sort of wish I wouldn't need to put so much effort into thinking about thinking. Like, could I just think without having to run 5 algorithms on every thought? This might be one of the better trims I've done in a while. I'm pretty happy. Gosh, if I'm going to get a benefit from as low as 25 milligrams of Strattera, I bet it's going to last forever this time. And I'm very excited about that prospect. Because although I felt very normal, I definitely still had plenty of superpowers. But those times on the Strattera, I felt the most human of my life. So I guess I will be looking forward to being able to think without having to think about thinking and wondering how I'm thinking and what I'm thinking and what am I thinking about thinking about. And I remember too, I could definitely choose to, I don't want to say abuse my superpower, but like there were times when in Strattera I could work through the night if I wanted to. I mean, I guess you could say the brain-body interface kind of gets a power up. Gosh, if I'd have gotten on Strattera as a kid and it didn't go numb on the receptors, oh my gosh, I could have been like a normal person my whole life. Like maybe I would have invented getting into space better or something. Careful. Careful. Through this section here, I have an almost ideal parting line. Every time I work on the molds, I try to make the flanges match better. For a tighter parting line here. And it just makes trimming easier. It's a more professional outcome. Careful, just the tip. Just the tip. I don't know if you saw that little bit of chip I was building just launched away from static electricity. Oh, it came back. Wow, that's creepy. Yeah. Kind of a corollary to, is corollary even the right word? A comparison, analogy. I mean, it has anal. It's got to be good. So you get in your car and you drive your car all the time. You're so used to your car. You turn left and you could feel something was different than last time. And you go, oh, maybe my tire's a little low. Something was not right. Because you have that established baseline of what's normal. With ADD, mine is not as comprehensive. So I get in a vehicle and it's like, all right, let's give it this much left. we feel how much left the car moves. Do we need more? Do we need less to dial in what the algorithm is doing? So it's more like real-time live updating instead of a more comprehensive plan that's already in my head to choose from. Maybe that's a way to think of it. On motorcycles, it's a lot more obvious. There really are two kinds of riders. I mean, there might be more, sure, but two kinds are, like I was talking about with your set. You throw your bike into a turn, it settles, it goes on its suspension, the tires flex, and you've ridden this bike through these turns so much, you know exactly what's happening, and this feels exactly normal. And then if something's off, you can totally feel it. That's a very, I think, normal kind of person. After I'm done riding and I have time away from the motorcycle, I forget what's normal for that bike. So the next time I go out, I throw it into the turn. I'm like, I'm throwing this much. Okay, good. This is going. And it's like real-time feedback of, well, I want a little more. I want a little less. Oh, it's kind of wiggling, but the average is where I want. All right, that's fine, whatever. And I don't have that steady base to draw from. And it's like that for everything in my brain. Everything is on a live time, case by case, update as you go, monitor. And that makes our brains kind of nutty. I mean, that's part of our crazy. I was kind of like the team mechanic, and so it was like almost a rebuild of some sorts every month. I mean, racing for 3 years with the same handful of motorcycles, it requires a lot of maintenance. And so the rider was like, something's wrong. The bike's wiggling going through the turn 8. And that's like a little scary. You're going probably 125 or so on the Aprilia 2-stroke. And they're like, something's wrong. Something's wiggling, checking the tires, checking this, checking that. And they're like, you left a bolt loose. I'm like, no way. But then, like, I was just sitting there staring at the bike, going over all the work I did. And I was like, what about the swing arm pivot bolt? Did I get that? Yeah, sure enough, swing arm pivot bolt was loose. Like, I'd have never noticed on my own bike. It's just, the bike's a little goofy today. Yeah, okay, whatever. Right around it. And it's not even to begin to say I'm better in any way. It's just different processing. I think I'm taking a little more time to do this than normal, but I'm okay with that. I'm liking the results. That's what matters. Coming up on this corner. All right, this needs more here. Typically, I would start here and then get everything that's not obvious done and then go for the top. But today, since I felt in such good shape with the trimming I was doing. I went for the top a little early while I still had it in me. So that was a good choice, I think. Definitely, our customers benefit from my ADHD and definitely my autism. The autistic side, um, I think, contributes to having a very strong moral ethic of doing right by people. And for customers, that means quality product, not cutting corners, never compromising safety. Like we're trying to provide a great value, so you're talking cheap, but not at an unfair expense of performance. So whenever you use a saw or something on the plastic, it kind of makes little hairs raise up. And so I like the more professional presentation of when the hairs are minimized. So I'm just going through and I guess you could say shaving. Oh, I need to do this whole side up here. Okay. I guess I just sort of ADD forgot. Wonder how that happened. Wow, I can't tell what's going on. So I need to have it to where I see the reflection on both sides of the trim line and I can see the depth of the blade at the same time. There we go. And that's part of that feedback. How do you know something is what it is if you don't test for it? I think that's kind of like why I'm a great engineer and technician too. It's like I sort of don't trust anything. And it's not in an unhealthy way. It's just, well, did you measure it? If you didn't come up with a way to verify reality, how do you know what reality is? And going back to my brain right now, it's like, oh, great. How we use our instruments changed. Well, now we've got to do self-checks and calibrations on our equipment in our brain to make sure our brain is braining the brain way. Yeah. I need to be careful not to over trim. All right, I got to stop. Over trimming is where you just keep whittling away and you just, you're not making it any better at some point. So you got to just stop. Nah, don't dig in. And there's a bump. Oh, we're caught up to where we did already. Okay. Not bad. Dang, we might be about done with this. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's been my life the last little bit. And so that I just think that I've been a little bit stronger than normal while I'm trying to figure myself out. I think some of it too is not wanting to screw anything up. I almost would have started up on Billie Jean again for the next phase. I mean, I was really close, but I just couldn't quite bring myself to go work on her. She's waiting in the driveway. Next up, we're going to try to take off all of the coolant hoses so that we can make sure where they fit onto their parts is not corroded. And then we'll replace probably as many of the hoses as we can because I'm pretty sure they're all original. And also the rubber tube that goes from the turbo to the intake. And then probably going to go ahead and get a new turbo as well. And I might even get lucky in that nowadays folks have more knowledge and math for turbo size and vanes and displacement and desired output, all that stuff. So I might get a little bit better performance as opposed to the physical configuration of the original part. I don't think it'll be huge, but it might be great. Maybe I'll get a little more bottom end and a little more top end. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk to the wizards. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if the turbo was simply blowing oil through the intake and or leaking exhaust through to the intake because, I mean, that thing's pretty loose and there's carbon buildup coming out of that rubber tube to the intake, so something's not right there. And then once the turbo's kind of done and the intake's resorted, then I can look at doing a better job with the exhaust rather than just putting a couple elbows pointing at the floor. All right, so this part never really is perfect. I just go for making, I try to make a good presentation out of it. You can't really see it anyway because it's buried behind the steering stem and underneath the ignition switch. A little bit of a lip, no sharp edges. We did here. I'm okay with those. Those feel consistent. They feel okay. Get this little bit in here that's wonky looking. On my S2R800, for the longest time, I had a white tank. And then I don't remember if I had a black tank just mounted for pictures. Maybe I did the red tank for pictures, and then I rode with a black tank. I think that's what I did. I don't know. But like for almost 10 years, I had that bike and one of our tanks on it. All right, I might be ready to call this done. Yay. Well, thanks for keeping me company. I'll check. I'll check how the video turned out for the framing, and hopefully there's not too much zooming in and out. Don't know if anyone's gonna watch. We'll see. I'll put a thing on when I link this. I'll mention that, hey, I go on about my crazy little bit in case anyone cares. So yeah. All right, let's get rid of this and roll over here. And we're gonna say goodbye and stream. Wow, that in and out's crazy. So thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see you later. Definitely leave comments, like if you need to, or hey, this or that, whatever. Always welcome folks' input. And yeah, so we'll see you later.